Hey, I'm not saying they're stupid. I like China. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China. Am I supposed to dislike them?
Welcome to episode 7 of the Gristle Digest, the weekly podcast that is entirely inflation-proof in the event of Britain leaving the EU and completely free of Franco-German influence in the event that Britain stays in. I'm Warwick said, and today is the 15th of May, and I'm joined as ever by my good friend Paul Moss. How's it going, Paul?
It's going pretty well. It is going pretty well. Literally zero complaints again.
I think that's every week in a row now.
Yeah, the drugs are working.
Top stories this week. We're all going on a autumn holiday. No more school or redundancy fines for me and you. The British public have been stocking up on suntan lotion and packing their bags following a High Court ruling that a man refusing to pay a fine for holidaying during school term was correct to do so. This has opened the door to the possibility of cheaper holidays for all, according to many of the newspapers. News of the High Court ruling was less welcome at several holiday resorts across the Mediterranean, with one Cypriot hotel owner slaughtering his entire family and himself, lest he suffer the prospect of dealing with Brits all year round. That might not have happened. The ruling was handed down on what really was Friday the 13th for the travel industry, and it provided the possibility, the only ever opportunity really, for broadsheet travel correspondents to become authors of front-page news pieces. The independent newspaper and sometimes BBC travel correspondent Simon Calder is alleged to have walked into his local town looking for a punch-up and a shag following an unprecedented level of demand for his services. That may not have happened.
Yeah, it just as well may have. So.
Next story. Tumultuous times for Tories and London leader lambasts Labour. Westminster is currently a war zone as politicians from both Britain's major parties are firing rounds of criticism at each other from across the bows. But these insults aren't being directed at the opposing parties, they're being fired at themselves. Friday saw former Prime Minister and Tory MP John Major, or Sir John as he is now known, issue a strident denunciation of senior Tory politicians' stance on Brexit. Sir John has accused Ian Duncan Smith, Boris Johnson and puppet out of a Stephen King film Michael Gove of exaggerating the case for leaving, adding that Gove probably fancies cats anyway. Again, that might not have.
Again, just might as well be true as well. Just as possible.
Meanwhile, across the benches in Corbyn's crap farm, Labour MPs, keen not to be outdone by their Tory foes, are at it as well. The newly elected Mayor of London turned on his party's leader, saying that he needs to remember how to win an election. Corbyn is reported to have replied, "Yeah, I bet you think you're well hard now, don't you? Hey? Hey? Khan? Hey?" Final story. Turkish President and rising political comedy star Recep Erdogan has accused the West of caring more about gay and animal rights than Syria. In a bizarre outburst during a speech in northwest Turkey, Erdogan also accused the West of possessing a mindset remnant of slavery and colonialism. Erdogan's comments were amidst a standoff with the EU regarding restrictions on Turkish visa applications, which currently prevent Turkish citizens from travelling freely in the EU. It's not clear what prompted Erdogan's comments, but many are speculating that he was watching documentaries on Netflix about animal rights and gays and couldn't find any about Syria. So that's this week's stories,
Wowzers.
Paul. First one, holidays for us all. For us, for people like you and I mean, it's not much of a change, is it? Because I think when we were young and at school, etc.
Yeah, it wasn't such a big deal.
You could kind of do this. I mean, I did this.
You did, I remember.
Yeah. Do it all the time. Shit.
And your education did not suffer as a result, I remember that much.
Did okay.
Yeah.
Did all right in the end. But it was like, no, I mean, my family are from. I've got a family in India, so we used to go and visit them a lot. And it wasn't ever a problem. But it became, it became illegal to do that. I think in the early noughties. So this has effectively overturned that. I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference really, but they sort of feel that it's going to possibly lead to cheaper holidays.
That's
nice.
a good thing. If I can possibly take a moment to speak for all parents, as
Do it.
official spokesman for parents, I think it's a good thing. The case in the example is it's just one of those things. You just look at it case by case. If the kid's never at school, then like get involved.
Yeah.
But that kid had like perfect attendance. Was going to like Florida for a week or 2 weeks. Who cares?
Right.
Not a big deal. Like 8 years old, what are you going to
know.
miss? Literally nothing. You're going to go for like a foreign land for 2 weeks and be a better person for the experience.
I hope it does lead to some slightly comedy things.
I'm sure
in
it
the future,
will. I can imagine
like,
there's lots of people who are going to try and take advantage of this.
Just sort of, dad from Wiltshire takes kids on 9-month journey, trip of a lifetime, following High Court ruling. But
kids miss year 4.
Yeah,
Backpacking
in Val d'Isere, but come back absolutely sick at snowboarding. Yeah, it's probably not. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think apparently people are already getting confused about it. So some schools are a bit like, are we meant to? What the hell? What's going on? In this case, like the fine that they levied out or that he refused to pay was like £100 and something pounds.
£160.
£160, and he went to the High Court.
Yeah, and if he had lost, he would have faced charge around about £25,000, I think.
In costs?
Yeah, and like court fees and everything like that. Had he have lost, that's what the chap would have paid.
For hundreds. Well, fair play to him.
Yeah.
That he won. I mean, I think he's obviously fighting on a principle, and it's actually, if he's done, he's effectively doing that for everyone else out there. So it's actually quite cool. Next story. Just what's going on in Westminster, bruv. Everyone is like murking each other, bruv.
Right? It's nothing but beef in it. Like Corbyn's
you get me? Everyone is like, you is a dick, you're a bellend, you is rubbish. I mean, starting with the Tories. Not only is the kind of Brexit debate bordered. I mean, it's not just bordering on this insane. It's gone into the capital of insane and set up a building with a flag on top. I mean, what people are talking about, it's ridiculous. I mean, so first you had the sort of so Boris Johnson. It's David Cameron. Firstly, wasn't it? Insinuating that if Britain left the EU and if the EU was disbanded or something, you would effectively get World War III.
Yeah, and plague.
Plague and World War III, which is quite extreme. And then you had Boris Johnson on the other side saying that the EU as a project was effectively the same idea as what Hitler had.
Some good level-headed arguments from both sides.
I mean,
which is brilliant to see.
Unbelievable. I mean, Boris Johnson's as well makes me laugh because it's on the basis that he wanted to sort of take over of Europe. Europe would be united under one power.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if you take that basis as big, okay, well, that's what the EU is, therefore anything like that is the same, then, it's not just that, the EU is the same.
Isn't it?
And, yeah, exactly.
I mean, everything's Hitler, which is...
I mean, and also it could be... It's not just Hitler, is it? It's like any comedy villain. It's like the EU is the same as what Dr. Evil was trying to do, and it's the same as what Lex Luthor was trying to do, and the same as what, I don't know, Pinky and the Brain were trying to do. It's just like, what a ridiculous kind of...
Absolutely insane, isn't it? Although, if everything is indeed Hitler, it does mean that every internet argument ever has actually been right. Because they all kind of end up as Hitler. It's like the default position.
Unbelievable. And then on the Labour camp, it's been sort of Sadiq Khan 1 week into the job, 2 weeks into the job, I suppose, as London mayor.
Yeah.
Knives out already.
His feet are under the table, aren't they? It didn't take him long.
Rounding on Corbyn.
Yeah.
But he said that Corbyn needs to remember how to win an election.
Oh.
And stop running around. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh no, you didn't.
Drop the mic, fam. Drop the mic.
Shit, you didn't, Quan. Oh my god. But and Corbyn was on the Andrew Marsh show, not the Andrew Marsh show, the Robert Peston show.
Yeah, this morning I hear, yeah.
And I actually saw a bit of that.
Yeah.
He actually initially came across quite well.
Yeah.
But whenever he tries to riff, just sort of like riff off script kind of thing, he does so badly. And and also he refused to admit that he was middle class, like it was some sort of sin. Like it was kind of like it was bizarre. He's like, "Oh God, how can you say that? That is absolutely ridiculous insinuation."
You're the leader of a major political party.
Political
You're
party.
definitely at least middle class. Like, there's no...
And also, what's the problem?
Yeah, like
what's the problem?
why are you have shaming that? Where the...
You don't have to be even if your party purports to speak for the masses, it doesn't mean you have to be wearing a flat cap and coming out of a mine at you know what I mean, 5 o'clock in the evening. You're right. I'm off to do me politics now. I mean, it's fine, Jeremy, but no, he went mental.
Yeah, he's bonkers, and he's bonkers.
But he's sort of he's got a one. The Labour came out of the by-election, I think, with a 1% lead. I think in the polls they've got a 1% lead over the Tories at the moment. And at this time, in the last sort of electoral cycle under Miliband, they had an 8-point lead.
Wow.
And he was pretty unpopular.
He was incredibly unpopular, yeah.
So it does make you wonder how it's going to be for Corbyn in 4 years' time, and whether or not he'll even be there in 2020 when they actually
I can't see it. I can't. There's been this amount of disarray within a party. How's...
But at the same time, look at the Tories.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. it's the one time where all literally Labour have to do in order to more or less guarantee the next election and just surge is not be shit. That's it. Yeah. Just put your silly little squabbles aside, or like have them behind closed doors, present a united front, and just point at the Tory party, and you'd walk it. I mean, and likewise the Tories, in order to like maintain and their position, just don't be shit.
At the moment, British politics is like heavyweight boxing. It's just so crap. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to win.
Yeah.
You just have to not be shit.
That's it.
And yet people are still managing not to win.
Like a Klitschko fight. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Final story, Paul. Turkish president just going a bit crazy.
Love this guy. Love this guy. It's taken us 7 episodes to get to.
Yeah, he's had a few little comments over the years.
Comedy
Mr.
gold.
Erdogan.
Comedy gold.
Interesting approach to dealing with the Syria issue. I mean, he's got a point in that, you know, the EU...
Do you know, he's actually probably right. People genuinely do care more about...
I think he might be right.
Yeah. But I think
if you put Westerners on a polygraph and polled them, like he might have hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, like not most people, but a lot of people you speak to are of the mind essentially that just fuck Syria. That's not our problem.
And just it's not a problem. Whereas gays and animal rights,
like that's a nice trendy thing to post about on Facebook, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Wow.
What a cynical view of
cynical view by Erdogan.
Yeah.
On this day in history, so today is the 15th of May. I was going to say something about Quantum Leap, but but I pulled out at the last minute.
Got a bit of Quantum Leap shyness.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke about pulling out at the last minute, and I pulled out of that as well. Oh, it's just going all wrong. But anyway, today is the 15th of May, and last week was the 9th of May. Last week's facts, if you remember, Paul, they involved performance artists dying.
Oh, yeah,
being killed, murdered.
Yeah,
during a performance.
Deaded.
Yeah, deaded. And it was the three facts were: the first one was 1891, actor Walsingham Lagarde being poisoned during the interval of a play he was starring in. Fact number 2 is in 1902, footballer Harold Gandalf died after being beaten to death by fans during a halftime halftime break of a football match he was playing in. And the final fact was in 1919, musician James Reese Europe was stabbed to death by a band member during the intermission of a show he was playing. And I think you went for Walsingham Lagarde.
I went for the actor.
Yeah, actor Walsingham Lagarde. Unfortunately, Paul, it was actually the musician James Reese Europe. He's actually he's quite a prominent jazz musician apparently from the.
And I'm a big fan of jazz. I should have. I've let jazz
down. Let jazz from the 1919 era down. It's quite early.
The best time.
He was stabbed by a band member during an intermission of a show. There was a disagreement over fees, and they had apparently had a kind of the disagreement had bubbled over into the actual performance, into the run up to the intermission, and then during the intermission. Quotes, and this is quotes from a journalist at the time. It got live, bruv. It got live.
Professor Green.
Yeah, Prof Green was there, bruv. 1919, yeah, it got live. Bruv shanked him. Man was like, oh no. And then
oh man, you shanked me
you
over
shanked
jazz
him. And then they turned on the lights, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh no, lights. But yeah, so that was James Reese Europe.
That's amazing, brilliant.
What a shocker!
Brilliant times. I imagine it as an improvised stab.
Yeah, exactly.
Being a jazz nature. Stimulus dip stab. Nice.
Oh my goodness. This week's facts, Paul. 15th of May. Fact number 1 in 1460. Oh, sorry. The theme is sort of peasant riots. We've sort of had a similar one a few weeks back, but it just seems to be that in history, notable events often involve peasant riots. So these may turn up again in future. But yeah, these are peasant riots related to foodstuffs, and it's fact number 1 in 1462. Political turmoil in Tippelplatzen, 100 miles south of Berlin, led to the sausage and potato riots, in which 70 peasants were hanged. In 1492, fact number 2, in 1492, an economic crisis in Kennemerland in northern Holland led to the bread and cheese riots, in which 200 peasants were killed. Fact number 3, in 1496, a new tax by landlords in Balzac, southern France, led to the garlic and tomato riots, in which 2 peasants twisted their ankles. Yeah, in France, innit? You know what I mean? So, what do you reckon, Paul?
Well,
it's bread and cheese. Sausage and potato riots in Tippelplatzen, bread and cheese riots in Kennemerland, or garlic and tomato riots in Balzac.
In Balzac, I believe it's pronounced.
I think you'll find the French pronounce it.
I believe they call it Balzac.
I think they know Balzac when they see one.
Wowzers, that is a dilly of a pickle. Sausages and potatoes. Would I riot for sausage and potatoes?
Wow. Depends how good either of them are.
Is the answer?
Yeah,
Quite possibly.
I would. Bang as a mash. Are you kidding?
Yeah, would I fight for bread and cheese if I was hungry enough? I certainly would.
A cheese sandwich is the first thing I'd have.
Yeah, exactly.
After that fight.
Gee, that's a staple, isn't it? Cheese sandwich. Could you give that up?
Could you give that up? Could you? I don't know.
Should you have to?
Yeah.
No. Fight for your cheese sandwiches.
Cheese, yeah.
And the last one was what? Tomato and
garlic and tomato. It is very important.
It is not, because if you have not got them,
how are you going to make something tomatoey and nice and garlicky without those 2 things? It is like fundamental.
So I've made my mind up.
Okay.
And I've put myself in the mind of these peasants and what would rile me up the most. And I'm going with sausages and potatoes because it's the heartiest meal.
Hearty.
I feel with the others, bread and cheese is more of a snack.
Yeah.
Tomato and garlic is more of an ingredient of a meal. Yeah, it's a sauce. You know,
it's not a meal.
That's an addition, but you can't. You
live on garlic tomatoes alone
without your bangers and mash. So
sure.
I'm going sausage.
Sausage and tomato. Sausage and potato. Yep. Well, Paul's gone sausage and potato. Answers next week.
Beamer in a white van. Oi, oi. Just call me the Neighbourhood Big Man.
Oi, oi!
Oh, crap.
Oi, A-Rope, come here, come here.
Every bloody day. What?
Oi, go play knockdown ginger on that ass over there.
What, that one over there? Why?
Well, because the guy who lived there's a bleeding wanker.
What? I don't care.
Oi, why don't you set some fireworks off at his ass for me?
What? No way.
Oh, and I've got some illegal ones in my garage. Go on. I'll give you some dirty mags.
No, I don't want to set off illegal fireworks at that man's house for some dirty mags.
Oh, well, what was that? Because you was having some curry. See you later, A-Root. Be lucky. The Moss Report. This week, I have been pinching myself in the desperate hope of stirring from what I am still praying is all just one long nightmare or a practical joke that's got way out of hand. That's This week I'm talking Trump. Donald Trump. Oh, Trumpo. Trump is now the presumptive Republican candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. That's a thing. That's actually happened. That is officially the world we live in. Donald Trump. You know Donald Trump from The Apprentice and racism. Yes, that Donald Trump is potentially the next leader of the free world. Well, we had a good run, didn't we? We all knew it wouldn't last, but over the last 150 to 200,000 years, we haven't done too badly.
And they did find water on Mars, humans. So you never know. Right.
Exactly. We've had a decent innings, but that's it. We are out. The dinosaurs had a meteorite, and it looks like we've got Donald Trump, which is at least it's a more creative finish, if you ask me.
A toupee wearing creative finish.
That's it. Exactly. But I think as a species of post-apocalyptic mutants rise out of the ashes of humanity and take charge of the scorched wasteland we leave behind, do you know what? As I think they look back, they won't judge us too harshly. Fire, the wheel, music, art, internet porn, the Big Mac, and what is often hailed as the greatest of man's creations, democracy. However, in doing so, it does look like we've sealed our own fates here. Now, I could go on for hours, literally days, weeks, months, about the absurdity and the terror of Donald Trump's potential presidency. Literally everything he says makes you simultaneously laugh like a madman and then shit your pants as thousands of people cheer for what is an actual madman. One particular Trump tale this week that has caught my attention, as just when you thought this ridiculous situation couldn't possibly get any more far-fetched, out steps a racist butler demanding Barack Obama be lynched.
Oh, there he is. There's that guy.
Days we live in. The days we live in. The guy in question is Anthony Senecal. He was Donald Trump's butler for nearly 30 years, so God only knows the depths of psychological trauma that would cause to a man, so that probably should be taken into consideration before judging this old guy too harshly. Now he actually retired from full-time Trump butling back in 2009, but was kept on by Trump as an unofficial historian at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida.
That is a weird...
What the fuck is that? What's an unofficial historian? Is Donald Trump so narcissistic that he keeps his own historian hanging
You say unofficial historian to me, I'm hearing secret gay lover.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
That's all I'm hearing, man.
It's creepy. You wouldn't put it past him. However, a Facebook post demanding that President Obama and his family be shot has prompted an investigation by the Secret Service into Trump's former butler, and has led to the Trump campaign disavowing Senecal's comments and him as a person apparently as well, which is incredible because it takes the number of prominent racists supporting Trump, which Trump has then had to disavow himself from, to a nice even 50. He's doing well. He's doing well for the white supremacist vote, which is brilliant.
Raise your bat.
There. Now, Mr. Senegal had written that Mr. Obama, these are his words, should have been taken out by our military and shot as an enemy agent in his first term. Jesus. He also suggested that the president should be hung,
Whoa.
for God's sake, outside the White House.
I'll tell you who he sounds like. He sounds like that that governor of Orange County. Yeah, go on. Suggested Obama should be hung outside the White House, which he then cleverly referred to as the White Mosque. Oh my goodness!
Very clever.
Oh my goodness!
A sharp wit we're dealing with here. Now the Trump campaign had to come out and kind of distance himself from this, and they've done that by releasing a statement. The person who released the statement is a bit of a celebrity amongst the Trump camp. It's their head spokesperson, Hope Hicks.
Whoa.
Hope Hicks. That is about as a perfect name as you can have for a Trump campaign spokesman. That's like someone working on the Bernie Sanders campaign being called belief communist.
It's almost like
like
if you go to sort of certain parts of West Africa and people have quite cool names, like, my name is Democracy Johnson. It's a bit like it's a bit like that.
Yeah, Hope Hicks. Yeah. The most incredible thing about Hope Hicks, though, and just adds to the absurdity of all this, is she is an absolute smoke show and former model, and now she's head campaign woman for Donald Trump. Is anything about this man and this campaign and this election not just entirely ridiculous? one thing though that I am sure of as this story breaks is it will not dent Trump's popularity or standing in the polls one bit. In fact, even as I'm speaking these words, Trump will be declaring war on the bees or banning Muslims from wearing shoes in public or something, and his approval rating will be going up. The more he gets caught up in controversy, the more offensive or ignorant the rhetoric, the more powerful he gets, which is scary. So even though his closest confidant for 3 decades, the Alfred to his Bruce Wayne, has been exposed as a bit of a racist shit, still, a man who looks like a cheesy knick-knack dropped on a barber's floor looks set to be the next president of the United States of America.
Boom.
What a sorry old state of affairs.
Sorry state of affairs indeed. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't...
Touching Trump, we have to.
Who is, I mean, the butler, I presume also that there may be an agenda whereby he's going to release a book, or he wants some, it's PR
America,
managed.
Yeah. And Trump likes to brag he owns a publishing company, which he doesn't own. But he likes to brag that he owns one, so I'm sure he knows some people.
It's just it's annoying these days though that you can use this sort of rhetoric as a means by which you can then build a platform and flog stuff. So in this country we've got Katie Hopkins, who just sort of consistently
do we ever have Katie
just flaps her mouth out about just disgusting vulgar things that are not true or based in any kind of fact.
It's purposefully inflammatory.
Just purposely inflammatory, sensationalist and wrong.
Nothing any level-headed person or even capable person could actually believe, which she is to an extent because she's doing her brand is working. So it's just for reaction.
Yeah, and I suspect that maybe this thing with this butler might be quite similar. But you're right in the sense that I don't think it's going to affect Trump.
It won't. Nothing affects the guy. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Teflon Trumpy. Nothing sticks to him. No, you're right. It's because if this was going to do anything, I mean, you'd have thought that this is almost relatively vanilla compared to what's actually happened so far.
Oh yeah, this is nothing. It's
just another episode in
one story
charade.
From not even one day, from one afternoon of the Trump fucking fiasco.
I don't know what he can do now. I don't know what he can say now that would shock me, other than actually concentration camps. That's the only thing that I think he hasn't really kind of full out just said. You know what I mean? Like that would be it. That would be okay. Yeah, that's pretty extreme, Don. But short of that, I'm just whatever, man.
He's doing very well. You can't take that away from the guy. It's going to be a bloody end that we meet, but it's going to be a funny one. So
we live and wait and look forward to that.
We certainly do.
Here you go, Lee, you slag.
Oh, bad time, Tom. I thought you got lost, you lady boy.
Lady boy, do you think I am your girlfriend? Nah, I got talking, don't I?
Oh, yeah. Some old salt, was it? Probably a white old boot knowing you, mate.
Oh, leave it out, you fucking pods. Now I was talking to old Ginger Fred, wasn't I?
Oh, Jesus. I bet that was fun. What that old bellsack had to say for himself.
Well, he was saying if we don't leave the EU by 2020, there'll be so many Muslims in England that by law, every bird will have to wear them balaclavas and bloody dressing gowns. Fucking liberty, mate. He's got to be taking a piss.
Nah, mate, I've heard that. Once they're the majority, they get the laws.
Right now, leave it out.
No, because right now it's Christian, ain't it? Because we're the majority, right?
Oh, mate.
But once it's the mothers, it'll be Allah bleeding Akbar. Just you wait and see.
Oh, well, I ain't having that. I'm voting out.
Oh,
oi, John. Wait. John, oi, Fadge, mate. Fadge. You dickhead.
Dickhead. Oh, you've got to vote out, mate. How could you do otherwise? This country's gone to the dogs. I remember when we used to rule the world, and to see the blatant shambles we've become since then breaks me heart. I feel like a stranger in my own country.
Yeah, it's like bleeding fucking oomy-goomy bloody Gongo-stan out there, isn't it?
Oh, tell me about it. Me doctor, Pack, me dentist, Jew, social worker, Pole or Romanian, one of them. Me kid's teacher, Chink. The last time I was arrested he was a bleeding black. The cheek of it.
Meanwhile, my bloody sister's at home and she can't get a job.
Oh, yeah. How is Kelly, by the way? Still on the skag?
Yeah, she's alright, mate. She cut it down and that. But I'll tell you what.
Good girl.
She wouldn't have to shoplift to pay for it if
wouldn't.
bloody Mr. and Mrs. Jihadi ain't come here to get a free house and bleed the NHS dry.
Oh, And there were people who just want to leave the door wide open, let ISIS move in and blow us all up.
Bloody tell me about it, mate. That bloody, you know, I'll tell you who is that, mate. That fucking, that bloody with the cardigans and that, Corbyn.
Oh, Corbyn.
Fucking Corbyn, mate. He's the one. If he had his way, we'd be played by Johnny Foreigner, wouldn't we? So he can come over here, overthrow the Queen, make us blooming communist.
Oh, we would love that. And what's Cameron doing? What's he doing? He's in bed with bloody
Get up there, Cameron. You know what I mean?
He's telling us we're going to die a bloody plague and start World War III.
Bloody. I'll say get up there, Cameron. I'll say get up there, that Muslim McGee, Barack Obama coming over here.
Oh, coming over
Get
here.
up there, Barack.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, he can do. He can do, and wait till they get Trump. Now, he is a fella you want.
Oh, proper bloke, isn't he?
Oh, proper
ain't
bloke.
afraid to call a spade a spade.
No, too right he ain't, and that's what we need. We need a Trump. Tell all these tree huggers and foreigners to get out if they don't like it.
We need a wall to keep ISIS out.
We need a Trump. Who've we got now? We've got
Boris,
Nigel,
Hopkins. Katie Hopkins, mate. Katie Hopkins. Well, she's a shout.
She ain't
she's
bad.
a shout.
She ain't
ain't
bad.
afraid to say, you know, what she's thinking in that, or like, she knows how to get a crowd going.
Oh,
you know what I
she
mean?
instills people.
And she nearly won The Apprentice.
Oh, Jesus. Hats off to her. She'd be perfect. I'll tell you what, though, right? If she was running the show now, you wouldn't have that mess in bleeding London.
Oh, what you mean? What you mean? Bloody London is stone.
That's
You know
the
what I
one.
mean?
That's
Hey?
the one. Dear,
Dick
oh,
Whittington
dear.
is bloody spinning in his grave if he knew a terrorist was running the capital.
Oh, Gordon, do you know what else? I heard he was cousins with that jihadi John. And he ain't going to be happy. He won't be happy. Not till London's under complete Muslim control.
Mate, I've already heard they're turning St Paul's into a bloody mosque, isn't they? And soon the Queen's going to be in a burger and the
She
Cockneys
has
are going
to.
to be in Al Jelly Deals, you know what I'm saying?
Enough. Is enough. What happens, though? What happens if you try and defend your country, if you're a patriot?
Ah, mate, they have a gated, didn't they?
Oh, the PC Brigade are up
They
in
get the
arms.
right ump. They get the right ump,
You know it before you know it, I'm banged up for violent conduct.
mate.
Oh,
It's an absolute joke.
Oh, it's
We
a
went
joke.
from world leaders, mate, to a bloody laughing stock. You know what I mean?
yep.
Talk about
joke.
soft touch bloody Britain, welcoming
That's-
every Bjorn, Fritz and Bloomin' Alley who isn't wanted anywhere else.
Oh, it's a joke, mate. Oh, bollocks. So I look at the time, right, I better be off, darling.
Alright then, babes. Text me when you get home, alright, dickhead?
Well, love you.
Oh, fuck off, you. Stop your gigs.
Whee.
Sports and douchebag sportsman of the week. To start off with Paul. It's not actually a sportsman this week,
Hello.
but it's
Interesting
whoever.
choice for...
Yeah, but it's whoever left a suspect package at Old Trafford today on Sunday,
good.
which led to the match between Man United and Swansea being abandoned and a controlled explosion being carried out at 4:30 this afternoon, which was Sunday. A device with wires attached to the pipes of a toilet was found in the northwest part of the ground, leading to a code red being announced over the loudspeakers, which some fans initially thought was a fun Man United thing, like the return of Eric Cantona, before they were informed of the situation and were evacuated out of the ground.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, that last bit might not have happened again, but,
Oh, I hope it did, though. I hope it
Yeah.
did. I'm sure some people just saw code red.
Code, yay! He's back! Eric's back! But it wasn't that. Now, apparently the device, I've just read now, the device was apparently not viable. It wasn't actually like, it
Yeah,
was more of a fake
but
bomb.
looked authentic.
It looked
yeah?
authentic
Like, it was,
and
looked
Pretty
like the real deal.
douchey thing to do, I reckon. You
It
can't
sounds
start...
pranky as well. It doesn't sound terrorist.
No, it sounds pranky, and it sounds a bit like, what if this stuff starts happening at football matches? That is so annoying.
Yeah, that because
We can't.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
like
it's an important day. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a sacred day. It's the last day of the season.
and also it's just the fact that if this happens at one match, you know, going forward, people think it's going to happen again, or if it does happen again, then if you go to football matches, it's going to be crazy. Like you're going to, it's going to be such a pain to get in and out of the ground. You're going to be like put up against the wall, full body cavity search. There's going to be like
they're gonna
loads
up
of
the security,
cops
aren't
with
they?
like police dogs, and all the cops are wearing like rubber gloves and stuff. You know what I mean? Like ready to like get really elbow deep inside you just to sort of make sure you haven't got any bomb making equipment in you. It's going to be such a pain in the arse.
It is. It's
Literally.
horrific, and you know, and it's the fans who suffer. I mean, you've got to give a quick shout out to all the the thousands of people from the south coast who drove up
Yeah.
to see their beloved Man United today.
Apparently, there was one fan who got special mention today because he flew in from India for his first Man United match. He was a boy, a young boy, he flew in from India for his first ever Man United game, and it was abandoned for this reason. So yeah, it's kind of pretty shit.
It sucks for them.
It does. Unlucky bastard of the week, Paul. Again, not really a sportsman, but instead, it's every Tottenham fan everywhere. After what happened today.
Very deserved candidates.
What the hell? So Tottenham lost 5-1 today, and Arsenal won 4-0, which means that Tottenham finished below Arsenal, despite Arsenal being a recidivist bunch of kiddie fiddling dick faces. It's an absolute disgrace. Pochettino's been wonderful all season, but I really think he should be hung. I can't see any other solution to this. Yeah, what an awful situation.
It's the fickle nature of the world of football management as well, because I've heard quite a lot of Pochettino criticism.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. He has been absolutely phenomenal all season.
Yeah,
but
he's been hailed so strongly through a season, and phenomenal manager, great guy. But I've literally seen on Twitter quite a few Spurs fans not
get rid of him.
Happy. You just think you did.
Yeah, they can't have a go at him.
Oh,
but
what a turn of events though.
And just a horrible situation now where Arsenal fans are crawling out of the woodwork with memes and hilarious pictures that they feel inclined to circulate. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, you haven't heard a whisper from those guys.
No,
not a whisper.
I'll tell you.
Apart from those 2 days where it looked like they might do it.
I'll tell you which little former Arsenal player, I've heard a whisper from this week.
Hello.
It's not who you think it's. This time it's actually Ray Parlour, who's got an autobiography out, and there was an excerpt of it in the Guardian. It's just ridiculous. It's a classic footballer's autobiography, in that it's completely shit. Let me just read you this one passage. It's brilliant.
Please do.
It's talking about the arrival of Arsene Wenger, or when Wenger arrived and what he did. But it was it starts with, but we were coming out of a different era. We had an eating competition once on the way back from Newcastle. It was a 6-hour journey, so we were like, what should we do today? Let's have an eating contest. No reason, really. It was just something to do. We must have had about 8 dinners. Baldy won by a mile. He had 9. In the end, we had to stop. A few of the players were being sick outside the coach. But under Arsene Wenger, those days were becoming history. So that's from Ray Parlour's autobiography. There is actually, I must say, mention of Martin Keown in his autobiography. Quite a notable mention. Apparently, Martin Keown was quite competitive about his place in the side, and used to really was quite not unwelcoming, I suppose, to new transfers, and was always very scared that a new transfer would come in.
He was goading them.
Well, it was a bit of goading. It was a bit of goading.
He lives for goading.
So if a guy came in, if another defender, if they were scouting for another defender, and the managers were looking at him, Martin Keown would always be sort of like, yeah, that guy's a bit shit. The managers here, just he can't even header. He's a bit shit. And the other Arsenal players all knew this, and they used to take the piss out of him for it, including Bergkamp. And apparently there was one player that the Arsenal managers were looking at, Wenger was looking at, and he was rubbish. He was a centre back or something, but he was absolutely rubbish. And all the other Arsenal players knew that if they just sort of baited and goaded Martin Keown into thinking that this guy was good, that he would buy into it. So all the other Arsenal forwards were like, oh yeah, whenever they watched this guy, they were like, oh, he's so good, he's really good, just to wind up Martin Keown. But it turned out with Arsene Wenger actually signed this guy on a 4-year contract because
that's amazing.
Yeah, because they thought that he was actually quite good. So Martin Keown's goading ways ended up with resulted in Arsenal lumbered with a crap player for 4 years. So that was good.
That was good of him. There you go, making it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Keown making it up.
But that's pretty much sport this week. Honourable mention though for Chelsea actually and Roman Abramovich, because they gave Claudio Ranieri a Guard of Honour, which I thought was quite nice today.
We love that guy.
Last game of the season, Leicester coming to Chelsea before they stabbed his kids and broke into his car, which is kind of harsh.
Yeah.
But it's called the Chelsea welcome.
Football,
yeah. Football. just time, I think, Paul, for an audio Instagram.
Oh, fantastic!
What do you reckon?
I live for these.
Excellent. This week's audio Instagram is a picture of the book Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler, sitting next to a copy of the EU Treaty. Instagram by our very own MP for Uxbridge and South Ruislip, the Right Honourable Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson.
Oh, bless him.
He's
God
out there. He's up to no good.
God bless Johnson. God bless Johnson.
That brings this week's hullabaloo to a conclusion. Please tune in next week. It's hullabaloo. Please tune in next week. Please follow us on Twitter at the Gristle Digest. At Gristle Digest. Please log onto our SoundCloud page and play all our episodes. It's soundcloud.com the-gristle-digest. We also have like mini vids and funny sketchy things like the sketches and the highlights from the show. We try and put little videos up on YouTube, so watch out for those.
Check the YouTube channel. They're awesome as well. They're really, really well done.
Oh, thank you. The editor likes. But and also download us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, and do email us with any comments and stuff you have. We'd always like to hear from you. We have heard from people, and it's always nice. And hopefully see you next week.